Hello, welcome back. This is Tiana from Tianasaurus Hex. It has been a while, I know, but I do officially want to come back to YouTube and make videos. I have been thinking about doing this for a while, I just didn't know when to come back on YouTube. Funnily enough, I guess it's right now, and I did not anticipate that this is the way that I would be coming back to YouTube, but here we are. This video, I will be doing an in-depth walkthrough of my tarot deck, the Echo Tarot. I created this deck. I did upload a short, like a quick flip-through reel of this on Instagram, but this is just like the in-depth like explanation video for the Echo Tarot. There's a lot to cover, so I should probably begin as soon as possible. I also want to say thank you so much. This deck has been getting a lot of support and a lot of love, a lot more than I had anticipated, and I just want to say thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I'm really glad to see that people are liking this. I will be doing deck pairings in a separate video because otherwise we would be here forever. So deck pairings for both of these will be in a separate video. There will be no Kickstarter for these two decks. These will be available print on demand. I'm going to be making these available through GameCrafter. That's where I'm going to be publishing these decks. So basically anybody can buy these copies at any time. There's no like time limit. There's no like, oh, there's 500 copies and they're all gonna sell out. It's nothing like that. You would be able to buy these at any time. There's like no rush. They're always going to be available. I just think it also makes it easier too, because I know that it would, or in terms of shipping, because GameCrafter does ship to a lot of different countries. I think they ship to like most countries actually. I think it just makes the availability even more accessible. When this deck is published, I believe the only countries that they're not shipping to is Russia, Belarus, and Brazil. That's what I saw on their website, like on this like current day that this is uploaded. I mean, obviously in the future that could change, but just from what I saw in the present, they are not able to ship to those countries. So those are the only ones, but I think everywhere else should be good. I am planning on publishing this on Friday, April 25th, so that is the date that I have chosen to publish this deck. So that is when I will be making it available for purchase on GameCrafter. Of course, I will notify everyone once I publish it. There are two different versions. This is the classic version, and this is the strawberry version. They both have the same exact illustrations. They are both the same, they are just different color palettes. This classic one is more of a neutral color palette. It's like this gray, beige, grayish, I guess, and charcoal. I chose that color palette for the classic because I wanted this classic to be a classic, a timeless. Like, I didn't want this to be something that goes out of style. I want this to, like, no matter what year we're in, like, this will still like look good and not like look like it's outdated or anything. So that's why I chose this type of color palette, because neutrals never go out of fashion, they never go out of style. And then the strawberry version, which I think a lot of people seem to be biased over this strawberry version. I think we clearly have a bit of a favorite here. This one is pink and red. I wanted this color palette because honestly, I just want more pink decks. Like, that's literally the only reason. I was like, oh, let me see like what other kind of color this, because I actually illustrated everything in this color palette, and then I was like, okay, what other kind of color palettes would suit this deck? And this pink and red, I was like, oh, maybe a pink would like look nice, because I want more pink decks, so let's see. And then I really loved it, and then this red too, because pink and red go with each other, because pink is red, it's like a lighter red, and I was like, okay, you know what, yes, this this looks really cute. It does suit the deck. It suits the artwork and everything. So like, okay, I'm gonna be doing a pink version too. I guess we all just wanted, I think we all just want more pink decks. I guess that's just what it is. Maybe it's not just me, I guess it's a collective. Like, we all want more pink decks to be available, so that's why I made this pink version. So these decks have 90 cards. So they have the 78 tarot cards, so the 22 majors, the 54 minors, and there's also an additional 12 Zodiac cards. They are poker sized. Originally, I was not intending on adding the 12 Zodiacs into this deck. Like, it was just going to be the 78 cards. I saw that 78 cards on GameCrafter for poker size is 5 sheets, but on those 5 sheets there would have been 12 extra remaining cards. And so because 12, I was like, that's a perfect number. I don't want to waste the rest of the cards on that sheet. So I was like, oh, you know what? That's perfect because I could do 12 Zodiac cards. So that's just how that happened. And I was like, okay, I'll add Zodiac cards to the deck. And so, voila, 90 cards. Well, the Zodiacs turned out really nice. Which, of course, you're going to see what the Zodiac cards look like in this video. But I really like how they turned out. They're really cute. So for the card stock, so GameCrafter's poker-sized cards have a 320 GSM black core matte. That's what they use for the card stock. So I think 320 GSM is a really good thickness because it's not too thin and it's not too thick. I have shuffled my deck. I have done readings with these decks and they shuffle really well. And then also, I also added a UV coating to the cards. So, here, let me just put this down. So the UV coating gives it a little bit of this, like, gives this, like, shine to the cards. Like that. But the UV coating also is supposed to protect it's also on the box too, the UV coating. It's supposed to protect it from like fingerprints and all that stuff. So if you like touch the cards, your fingerprints won't be on it. It's actually quite nice because I don't like it when there are like fingerprints and that kind of stuff on the cards. So that's why I enabled it. I was thinking about doing the linen texture too. But to be completely honest with you, I think because like the artwork, there is already texture in the artwork, like this grainy texture on it. I was like, I don't know if the linen would be too much texture, like maybe it would be too much. So I decided to not enable the linen, just the UV coating. Also, the cards do not come in order. So I'm pretty sure if you've ordered decks from GameCrafter, you probably know this, but the cards they do not put the cards in order, so they're just in a random order. I had to put these in order myself. But I'm just letting you guys know, just in case. I mean, you are going to shuffle the deck anyway, but I just wanted to still say that, just in case. Okay, so now I want to talk about the art, the inspiration, and the process. So all of these were drawn in Procreate, so this is all digital art. And I wanted the style of the art to look like it's lino cut. So I tried to give it that look by... I didn't want the edges to, or the shapes to look super perfect, because usually with the like lino cut art, like the edges don't look super duper perfect because you have to like carve into the... Actually, I don't know what it's called. Is it like looks like a clay or something? I don't exactly know what that thing is called that they carve into, but there's that. And also sometimes the like with lino cut, the printing, the ink kind of leaves a bit of like a graininess. So that's what I did. So I kind of gave it this grainy texture, as you can see over here, or you could also see it in, we'll just, see over here, there's a bit of a grainy kind of texture to the art. I actually thought that actually worked really well too, because it gives a little bit more like three-dimensionality to the art. Instead of it looking like a flat color, it actually looks more like, it looks more three-dimensional. Like it gives a sense of highlight and shadow. So it actually worked quite well in that sense too. And also, especially with this classic edition, it kind of gives it this stone look. Like it kind of looks like stone to me. And I ended up really liking that, so I went with it. I went with this style, and of course the artwork is essentially inspired by like modern boho and a little bit of like folk art. Like that's the inspo behind this art style. And in terms of the process, I actually did the 1 through 10s of each of the suites first, because that literally is a bulk of the deck. Like once you get all those done, you've pretty much completed like half of the deck. And then I think I did the zodiacs, and then the majors, and then I saved the courts for last. So that was just like the order that I worked through it. I didn't want to do the majors first and then the minors, because I feel like if you get a bulk of the deck done, like if you do the minors first, you feel this sense of progress. Like instead, if you do the majors first, then you're like, oh my god, I have 54 cards left, you know? So it kind of kept me feeling like I actually did not feel tired at all and being like, oh my god, when is this deck, like when is this gonna finish, when is this gonna end? Like no, I enjoyed the whole creation process through and through. This was really, really fun to make. I had a blast like coming up with these cards. It was really fun. So also I titled this deck the Echo Tarot because, you know, when you think of an echo is a sound that extends, it just keeps on going. So the idea is that I wanted this deck to be flexible and adapt to the reader's perspective on the tarot. Like I did not want to make these cards like look very rigid at all. Like I wanted it to be flexible and adapt to your own interpretations. I wanted you to be able to hear the sound of your own voice through this deck. And that's why I chose for the minors to make them pips, because pips offer that flexibility. And the way I designed the pips though is I made sure to add some hints to what the cards mean so that it's not super abstract, but it still has a little bit of that abstraction, so that of course again it fits to the mold of the reader. It fits to your own mold. So that's why I call it the Echo Tarot, and that's kind of how I designed this. Like that's why I chose pips instead of full scenarios in like the minors. I personally don't like to read with the full scenarios because I think it kind of limits. I find it to be a little bit too rigid. I like to have a little bit of abstractness, and so that's why I chose that. That's why I did that. This deck is Rider-Waite-Smith inspired. So if you know how to read the Rider-Waite-Smith, you should be able to read this deck no problem. It's not a clone. I do not like clone decks at all. I tried to make it inspired, but I did not want to make a clone, and you will see that through the artwork. I'm not like trying to match it exactly to the Rider-Waite-Smith. It also takes some influence and inspiration from the Thoth and the Marseille, because obviously those are pip decks, so I took inspiration from those decks, minors, and you will see that, of course, once I flip through the deck. And also, yeah, there's no guidebook either. Like for that reason, like I said, I want the deck to adapt to your perspective of the tarot. And if you have no idea what any tarot cards mean, there are plenty of resources. There's like lots of free online resources. If you use those resources and like with this deck, you should be able to read this deck with no problem. I made sure that this is an easy deck to use. But I'm pretty sure like most of the people watching this already know how to read the tarot. I think a lot of you already have experience with the tarot. So the boxes, showing the boxes, and then we'll get to the cards. So box this is the front. It has the title. And then here is this side. This side has the editions. We have the classic and we have the strawberry. The bottom, there's my logo, my Tyrannosaurus Hex logo. And then on this side here, we have more illustrations. And then in the backs, this is what the backs look like. So if you want, you could pause and you can read this. But it just has the description, and it also has my name on it. And then the top has this echo semicircle rings. That's kind of like the, I guess, the symbol for the deck. So that's the box. Okay, let me first, before I forget, show the backs. This is the backs of the card, so it has that echo semicircle rings that was on the top of the tuck box on the flap. So that's what I did, because that is like the symbol of the deck, of course. Alright, so let's begin with the Fool. So this is what the Fool looks like. So we have this lady who is, well, her eyes are closed. Her eyes are closed. She is not looking where she's going, but she is following this butterfly. And she is not even on the cliff anymore. Like, she is basically already jumping off the cliff. She's just not looking where she's going. There's also flowers that are growing out of her armpits. I kind of wanted this Fool to have a bit of a silly and lighthearted vibe, because I mean, the Fool does have that kind of energy, like silly and lighthearted for sure. So that's why I did the flowers growing out of the armpits. But you know what? This, like, I think this embodies the blind faith aspect of the Fool. Like, you are just diving into something, you're taking a risk, you're basically trusting. Like, this is definitely, like, obviously a card about trust. And so that is how I depicted that sense of trust. Like, trust and courage enough to take the risk. Alright, Magician. This is quite a simple and straightforward Magician. We have that infinity symbol of the Magician from the traditional decks, the traditional RWS. But the way I did the illustration, though, is I did 4 hands, and each of the hand has the sweets, like the thing of each sweet. So we have a cup, we have a candle, which in this deck the candles are supposed to be wands, we have the swords, and then we have the coins. So instead of pentacles, I called it coins in this deck. So basically the hand has all of those inside, pretty much trying to tell you that you already have what you need to be able to manifest what you want. So this is like the sign of, like, you have what you need to make your dream or your desire a reality. Okay. The High Priestess. This one is a book that's like, you already know the answer. So for me, the High Priestess, she's always coming out as a confirmation. And that's why I put, you already know the answer. She basically, when anytime there's a question that I ask, it's always like, well, and I pull the High Priestess out. Basically, basically what she's trying to tell you is, you already know the answer to this question. So this is like the confirmation. Or if you're asking about a person or a situation and you pull out the High Priestess, she's basically trying to tell you that your perception of your perception of the person or the situation is correct. So you need to trust in that perception. Like, you already know. You have the awareness, or your perception is correct about something. So she's like the confirmation, and that's why I put that. The Empress. We have this woman here who has all these flowers growing from her hair. This one's a very simple depiction of the Empress, but I think I think this kind of depicts like what she essentially means, because she is about fertility and creative abundance, and she's also about beauty and all that stuff. So that's why the flowers are growing from her hair, to represent her creative abundance and also her beauty as well. So I think, in general, I like the flower motif for the Empress. It's just like the perfect motif for the Empress. So there you go, Empress. Alright, the Emperor. So for the Emperor, we have a tree motif. So the Empress is the flower, the Emperor is the tree. So we have this dude in a tree, and I tried to make it look like he's holding up a sun, like, you know, to represent that masculine energy, since that's what the sun typically represents. And so I like the tree motif for the Emperor because, you know, obviously the Emperor is about having, like, you have that strong foundation and you have that sense of structure, and, you know, trees, they tend to have quite a strong foundation. But I think the tree is also a good way of showing that, you know, the reason why the tree is also able to live for so long is because they do have that flexibility. Like, the tree branches are able to move side to side. So it's like the importance of not being too rigid, but having enough of a structure in order to have that sense of stability. The Emperor is also that, like, I guess he's like the choose your own destiny card. That's also how I interpret the Emperor too. So he's kind of like that, like, okay, you need to kind of take charge of the situation. That's like from the masculine energy. So that's the Emperor. Okay, the Hierophant. So this one is quite simple, but I think it's quite effective. We have an apple with a worm, and that represents, you know, knowledge. And so, you know, typically the Hierophant represents knowledge and like learning new things and about mentorship and all that stuff. All about learning and all about guidance. Yeah, receiving guidance too. It's like, it could be about like receiving like advice or giving advice to someone. So you might either find yourself in the position of being this worm, or this worm is coming to you to give you a word of advice. So that's why I chose the apple and the worm for the Hierophant. Okay, the Lovers. So, so here we have what looks to be like I wanted to make these like twins because the Lovers is Gemini, so they kind of look alike. And, you know, typically, I mean, the Lovers, I've seen people read the Lovers in a lot of different ways. You know, obviously there's it's a card about, it could be a card about love and relationships and union, like uniting. And then there's also, I know, so this could also be like a self-actualization card. So it's kind of like a mirror to yourself or to your own values. So it's like reflecting who you actually truly are. And which does work. It definitely works with this deck because we do have like these people, they do look alike. But we do have the heart here with the Cupid. We do have the heart here with the Cupid. There is a sense of, I did kind of want there to be a sense of love in this. There's also like a flaming heart. I did want to put like a sense of love in this card, but of course you can read this however you'd like. You got a lot of options with the Lovers. Okay, the Chariot. This is my zodiac signs card, and I wanted to do something a little bit fun with the Chariot, so I chose a flying bear, because why not? That's literally the only reason why I chose the flying bear, because I was like, you know, I want something fun, so why the heck not? Let me just draw in a bear that has wings. And this bear has places to be. He or she or they are zooming forward to their destination. They are flying over the mountains. They are serious about getting ahead and getting to where they need to be. And I also put the moon and the sun in the corners because with the Chariot there is that like mind, body, and heart alignment in the Chariot. So I wanted to put that in there. Obviously the bear is the body, so there's that with the Chariot. Strength. This is actually this card turned out to be one of my favorite cards in the deck. So the Strength card, we have this person with a giant heart in the center, and they're reaching this angry looking lion, and they're trying to tame the angry lion. So I kind of wanted to depict a sense of compassion or self-compassion, and also like self-restraint. Like there's a sense of restraint that I wanted to depict in the Strength card. Okay, I don't know if you heard all that because there was just like a crazy motorcycle slash car outside. But anyways, yeah, strength. I wanted it to be about like compassion and self-compassion and self-restraint. Okay, the Hermit. So this is the only card in the deck where the colors are inverted. So the background is the like in this one it's the charcoal color, and this one it's the red color. So it's like this is not for any particular reason. This was just more of a stylistic choice because I wanted to have this light bulb in the center of the Hermit, and so I just thought that inverting the colors just made sense. But you know, the Hermit tends to be about that, like, you know, taking time to yourself. It's like the alone time card, and so you have this person with all like this tea or coffee, or let me do this, basically a beverage and all these books, and they are basically, yeah, they're having their alone time. And I think also the light bulb is, or I also put the light bulb there too, because typically in these, it's like these alone time moments where we are centered in ourselves and we're able to understand our thoughts and gain clarity from there. We get a sense of illumination from that. So I wanted to express that. All right, Wheel of Fortune. So this is quite a simple Wheel of Fortune. It's a snake, and the snake goes all around, and then in the snake I basically put all the zodiacs, and then all the moon phases, and then the seasons. And this is because obviously the Wheel of Fortune is about cycles and change, and so that's why I did that. And since snakes have that sort of circular shape, like all the symbols fit quite well. Like it looks round. Well, I tried to make it look a little bit more square, but there is that sense of roundness, like to kind of fit the card, or fit the space of the card well. Basically, it's kind of meant. I kind of wanted the snake to look a little bit like a giant wheel, and I think it worked quite well. So yeah, Wheel of Fortune. Justice. Another one that's simple, but I thought it was quite effective because, well, Justice is also similar to the Lovers. It's one of those cards where there are so many different meanings. There are so many different meanings to the Justice card. But essentially, since the Justice card has the scales, because I think Justice is the Libra Zodiac card, so there's the scales. There's like a sense of balance. So what I did in this deck, or in this Justice card, is I put the stacked stones. There's like or Justice is kind of like the opposites, and so here we do have stones that are of opposite sizes, that are able to balance each other. So it's kind of like trying to say that like the duality, duality is needed to bring balance. So that's how I chose to depict the Justice card. Okay, Hanged Man. This one is pretty, like, it sticks to the traditional Hanged Man. It's not really, like, a super different depiction to the RWS, but instead of a person, I chose to put a bird. I just thought that the bird, I just wanted to put some more birds in this deck, so that's why I chose to put a bird instead of a human. So that was literally the reasoning. Alright, Death. So in this Death card, underground we have all these skulls, and you know, obviously skulls are a representation of, you know, death, or in the Death's card case, it is a representation of those endings. But we kind of see it's like buried underground, and then over, like on the top, there's this flower growing. So it's that idea that like endings, or like death, metaphorical death, is needed in order to bring new life. So it's like the ending being used to bring about that new beginning. Okay. Temperance. So for Temperance, this one is kind of the allude or the nods to the alchemy that's going on in the traditional Temperance card, because Temperance is about like that harmony, it's about peace, I honestly, the Temperance card is actually one of my favorite cards in the tarot because I personally think that this is the most positive card in the tarot, because it is about that harmony and peace and like Allah's. This is like the Allah's will card. Everything's going well. Everything is as it should be. This is like, I don't know. I just think that, or I personally just really like the Temperance card. I think like the Temperance card has always been a really positive experience, we'll say. But it kind of represents that harmony because it's like that the water and the fire are actually blending, like they're starting to blend, they're starting to merge. And you know that in alchemy that is what you want. So it's kind of like you've achieved that sense of harmony in Temperance. So there's that. Oh, and I also put, oh my god, this like sun and moon. It kind of looks like an eclipse. I wanted to put that eclipse just kind of like, again, like because obviously with eclipses it's like the moon is like over the sun, or this, yeah, the moon casts a shadow on the sun. Yeah, there we go. The moon casts a shadow on the sun. I just kind of thought that, you know, it's like it's still, it kind of has that balance. No, not balance, but like, I don't know, harmony. It looks like that. I know that that's not what solar eclipses represent, but I just wanted the moon and the sun to kind of be like the opposites, like to play as opposites. Okay, there we go. The devil. We have this goat figure with a billion eyes inside, and there's these people, these two people that are trapped inside the devil, the goat, or the goat basically, and they are also like, they're kind of like stuck together too, because, you know, I wanted to give this card there is a sense of helplessness in the devil card. Like that usually is kind of like what is like, you are in the devil, you are stuck, and you're like, I don't know how the heck to get out. So that's kind of why I did try to make this card kind of look like that. Like with all the eyes just like looking, it's like, you're just like, oh my god. Yeah, I that's kind of like the idea. I just wanted to kind of give it a bit of a helpless, like feelings of helplessness, because usually in the devil, that's kind of how it feels to be under this card. So I was trying to represent the feeling behind the devil card. That's what I was trying to depict. Okay, the tower. The tower. Okay, so this is, I think, it's not Marseille, but I think this is from those tarot key decks. This is like the tower that's based on those like old Italian tarots. I know that the tarot key by Mr. Freeborg has this tower in it. The Trionfi della Luna also has an alternative version with this tower in it. I think it's from those old Italian tarots. But I put this tower specifically because I think this is one of my favorite tower depictions ever. Because like with the tower, like yes, things are falling apart, like yes, there's chaos going on, but to me it's like the falling apart that's happening, it's actually a way, like that chaos and that falling apart is actually saving you from something. That's why the person's escaping. The person is escaping this flaming tower. And it's like what's actually happening is, you may not realize in the moment, but it's like you're actually being saved from something else. Like if that thing did not fall apart, you would have actually been in a worse situation. And that's why it's like there's usually a silver lining to the tower, is what I'm trying to say. And usually that silver lining is not something that you can see until later on. It's like, yeah, something that you figure out later on. You're like, oh, good thing this thing fell apart then. So it's like, I don't know, there's a sense of there's a silver lining to this card, to this version of the tower that I really, really like. And that's why I chose this Italian tarot version. Okay, so the star, the moon, and the sun have a very similar kind of composition. It's very simple. But we have the star with the moth, because like the moth tends to be like a symbol that is often associated with the star. So I put the moth in the star card. And then here with the moon card, I also put these cute little faces on the moon, the star, and the sun. I just wanted these to be really cute. I wanted them to be adorable, so that's why I did that. But here we have a moon with, I drew a moonflower under the moon, because obviously it's the moonflower. So that's what I did for the moon. So these ones are just kind of simple to talk through. And then there's the sun, and I put birds that are freely flying under the sun. And also the sun has an adorable face. So these ones are quite simple. I think they turned out to be really cute. Alright, Judgment. This is another one of those cards where I'm like, where I really love the way the Judgment card turned out. This one also turned out to be one of my favorites in the deck. But I wanted to put that echo ring motif in one of the cards, and I thought that the Judgment card was perfect since it's like the person is blowing a trumpet, and like the trumpet is creating, I wanted it to look like the trumpet is creating these sound waves. And then we also have these hands, like in these echo waves we have all these these eyes, and then we have all these hands that are reaching up. Because, you know, typically the Judgment card, it's like that wake-up call, it's like that awakening, and also same thing like with the eye of the person. I put these like lashes to kind of point to that like eye being important, because it's like you're like waking up in this card. So this is basically what that is. It's like the wake-up call, it's the awakening, it's the huge realization, that big epiphany that you get. So Judgment, and there's the sound, and of course, like I explained with the echo and the echo tarot, the name, it works. I think it worked pretty well. And then here's the world, the last major arcana, the world card. And here I put, when I look at this, I'm like, oh, this kind of looks like a snow globe. But obviously I wanted to depict it like it looking like a world, and then the world is like in your hands, because you're at that completion, you're at that achievement, you've made it across the whole journey, and now you're completely happy. So it's like the world is like in your hands now. So you're finally at your destination. You've finally arrived. So that's why I did that for the world card. Okay, so pip cards. Okay, so far it's like I'm an hour into recording this, probably gonna be shorter in the actual cut, like edited version, but we are just starting with the minors. Oh my goodness. Okay, I don't know if I had mentioned this, but yeah, the way that I did the pips is I took inspiration from Lady Frida Harris in her Thoth tarot, and the way that she did her pip cards is that she adds details into the pips that give you hints as to what they mean. So the way that I constructed the pips is like taking the Thoth's pips in mind, like, okay, how can I give you the reader hints as to what this card means without, because I didn't want it to be like, oh, here are 5 candles in this card. Like, no, I wanted to tell you something either through, like, for example, with these candles, like through the flame, or through the way the candle looks, or the positioning of it, so that it can work with your intuition. So basically, I did not want to make lazy pips, because I absolutely hate lazy pips. And in order to achieve that, I took inspiration from Thoth's, or Lady Frida Harris's, I guess, way of depicting the pips, but it's not like, this isn't like the Thoth pips. Does that make sense? Did I make any sense? I just used her as inspiration. There you go. I just use her as inspiration because I love the Thoth. But this is quite Rider-Waite-Smith, though. Here we have the Ace of Candles. So, like I said before, the wands are candles in this deck. So, here in the Ace, we have this flame, this light is just bursting forward. So, obviously, the Ace of Wands is always that, like, there's that seed of potential, but it's kind of in the spirit, like it's usually in the form of an idea or an inspiration. And like this is just bursting forward. It's like, hey, look at me, look at this awesome idea I have. Can you please use that? Can you please use my idea? So that's the Ace of Candles. That's how I depicted it. Okay, Two of Candles. Usually the Two of Candles, there's like a sense of choice, like you're trying to choose what direction you want to go in the future. So there's like a future planning aspect usually to the Two of Wands. I know that there's also a travel aspect to the Two of Wands too. I know some people read it like that, like, or more like planning for travel. There's also that in here, but in this deck, to indicate that sense of choice, you have like these two candle holders have like different symbols, so it's like you either want to pick this or this. And usually in the two of Wands, there tends to not be a better choice. Like both choices tend to be quite equal in how good they are, so it's kind of like you have to rely on your instincts to make the choice, because there's no obvious right or wrong with this card. So that's the Two of Wands. So with this Three of Wands, so I wanted to make one of the candles a little bit higher than the other in order to, it kind of forms like this arc or this arrow shape, because usually in the Three of Wands there's a sense of progress. The candles are looking good, the candles are nicely lit. So, you know, obviously the Three of Wands is a nice card. It indicates that there is some sort of forward movement. It indicates that there is some kind of progress being made. And then here with the Four of Candles, so again, similar to the Three of Wands, we have like the candles that are in good shape, the candelabras in good shape, the flames are in good shape, because the Four of Wands is a good card. There's a sense of stability in this card, which is why in this card, all the candles are like lined up like they're on the same length. Because I know that the Four of Wands, you know, people can read it either as like a sanctuary card, like sanctuary safe haven kind of card, or as the achievement of that, like achievement of some kind of milestone. So you've hit some kind of goal, you've hit some kind of milestone that you've been looking to achieve. And so in whichever case, there is obviously a sense of stability in whichever way you like to interpret the Four of Wands. Five of Candles. So in this Five of Candles, so in this one, the flames are still brightly lit because, you know, obviously all the fives, there's a sense of challenge or obstacle in all the fives. And so, in, like, obviously we're starting to see the candles are starting to melt here. They are starting to melt. But the fire is still lit. There is still a sense of passion that is in the Five of Wands. Obviously, like, the Five of Wands can represent conflicts or disagreements, or it could be an internal conflict, or it could be that, like, just a representation that some kind of strife or obstacle, obstruction is in the way, but that passion is still there, especially when it's like there's the disagreement, like there's the conflict with another person. It's like, you know, both sides are kind of passionate. So we still have that passion that's in the Five of Wands, but obviously the candles are starting to melt, so there is a sense of weariness from the, like, or a struggle that is being depicted in these candles. Not weariness, but more like a struggle, yeah, that I wanted to depict because there is an obstacle in this card. Okay, Six of Wands. This is the victory. Obviously, this is like the victory recognition card, and so in the center we have a big fat candle with a big fat flame and a big fat candle holder, and there's all the surrounding candles. There's all these other candles surrounding it, and it's cheering this middle candle on. And then here we have the Seven of Wands, so it's kind of a similar composition where there's a candle in the center as like the Six of Wands, but in this one now the center candle is starting to be challenged by the other candles. They're facing it, they want to melt this candle, but the center candle is still burning bright. It is still burning bright, like there is that sense of passion, like you don't want to lose your position, so the middle candle is needing to burn and shine brightly. but it is kind of melting because it is obviously being challenged. So there's the 7 of candles. Okay, 8 of candles. So we have 8 candles, and all of these candles are burning very intensely, but it's also melting. So, you know, the 8 of Wands is like, you know, when there's just a lot going on with the 8 of Wands. There's a lot of good things going on, but the idea is that if this 8 of Wands goes on for way too long, you're at the risk of burning yourself out. Because although there's like an abundance of inspiration and ideas, or just, you know, things basically getting busier than usual, if this keeps going, there is that potential for burnout in the 8 of Wands. So this is like, yeah, things are happening, there's progress and all this great stuff happening, but are you sure you can keep doing this? Okay, the 9 of Wands. So here, let me zoom into one card first, actually. So you can see that the candelabra is kind of wearing away on both of the candelabras, and then the candles are melting. All the candles are melting, and even all the fire is kind of shrinking. It's kind of like when that, like, we're just, you know, in the 9 of Wands, you're just tired. You are just tired. You are overwhelmed by what's going on. You're starting to kind of lose that passion because you're feeling tired. You just want things to end. And so that's what I tried to depict here. You're kind of like, oh, can I just get to the finish line already? And then the 10 of candles. Here in the 10 of candles, the flame is completely gone. Goodbye, flame. Candle, I mean, they are all melted. They're just completely melted. I mean, they're just like a tiny little candle now. This is like the complete exhaustion, the burnout. It's like everything kind of led to the burnout. And so that is the 10 of Wands. Okay, the quartz. So I guess I'll say this about the quartz. So I try to take into consideration their elemental associations when I was coming up with the quartz. So like all the pages are earth, all the knights are air, all the queens are water, and then all the kings are fire. So with the pages, they all have some kind of earthy element, whether that's a flower, whether that's grass, whether that's a tree. There's like some kind of earthy element to all the pages. So I'll just like kind of walk you through that as I go. So in this page, we have the flowers growing from they're kind of like on top of the page, because kind of see this page is holding the Ace of Candles. It looks similar to the Ace of Candles because obviously all the pages are also associated with their aces. They correspond to that. So it's like we can see this like this candle looks like it's kind of from within the person, and then like basically like representing that idea or that inspiration, that spark, that passion is there. But then we're starting to see these flowers growing, so we're starting to kind of get into the initial stages of that passion, that creativeness, that endeavor, whatever that may be. Like we're starting to kind of grow it a little bit. Okay, so all the knights, so because they're air, they have wings. So every single knight has wings. So with the Knight of Candles, basically what I wanted for this is like it's on like the knight is under this like night sky. This one's also kind of inverted too, kind of like the hermit, but not completely. Like we still like the whole card is not covered in the nighttime. To me, it's like I put the night sky for the Knight of Candles because, you know what, with this knight there is a sense of bravery. There's a sense of courage with this knight in particular. So it's like they're brave enough to traverse the dark. So I wanted to give that sense of bravery to the Knight of Candles. So for the Queen of Wands, here she's holding up a candle, and she, like, inside the smoke of the candle, it looks like some kind of vision. To me, like, the Queen of Wands she, she's like the type of person who's going to create her own, like, she's going to create her own reality by doing what she wants to do, and she doesn't really care about, like, or not that she doesn't care, but she's not going to, like, she's not going to get discouraged from what other people think. So here she's able to create her own vision, because she also has that, she kind of has that, she has that spunk, I guess. I guess that's the right word. She has that, and so she's gonna do that no matter what people say to her or think of her. Okay, King of Candles. So we have the final Candles card. So for the king, so he is the flame, since he is the fire of fire. Oh yeah, so all the kings have, there's some kind of fire on them, and in this case, because he's the fire of fire, since the whole wands is the element of fire, I made him the fire, like he is the literal fire. And to me, I put him in this, like, lantern as well, because, obviously the king of candles is, like, some kind of leader. He's the one who is leading others, he's showing the way for others, so he is, like, he kind of is, like, the lantern, he's, like, the guiding light for others. Like, others are following him, and others look up to him. So that was my idea for the king of candles. Alright, the Ace of Cups. We're at the cup suite. So for the cups, I did these, like, teacups. And in this ace, the cup is being poured, and there's also a big heart in the center of the cup. Because the Ace of Cups, it is like that, there is that sense of love, there's a sense of emotional renewal. Our cup is being filled in this card, like, metaphorically. So that's why I did this for the Ace of Cups. Alright, Two of Cups. So this one, we have two cups. One has the lock, and the other one has the key, and then their steam lines are making a heart, because, obviously the Two of Cups has to deal with love and relationships, chemistry and all that, so it's like having the key to one's heart, And so that's what I came up with for the Two of Cups. And then the Three of Cups. Three of Cups is like the celebratory card or the friendship card. And here, all of the cups, there's like a similarity between them. They all have some kind of like flower or petal motifs to kind of give that idea of community, of friendship, that sort of like-mindedness. And also, all the cups, they're in good shape. So yeah, celebration, they're all together. All these cups are having a good time. There's nice warm cup, or a nice warm beverage in all of them. Okay, Four of Cups. So we have three big cups that are right in front of us. They are staring at us in the face. And these cups are worn. These cups are worn out. They're definitely empty. There's nothing inside of the cups, as we can see, because there is a cup on top that's trying to get your attention, and this cup is in good condition. And this cup it also has the steam line. It's like, hey, please grab me, look at me. So this cup wants your attention, but you're paying attention to these cups, of course. That's the idea of the Four of Cups. Okay, Five of Cups. So in the Five of Cups, three of the cups are completely broken, but two are remaining. They are in good condition, and they are hot. They have a hot beverage in them. So obviously, like the Five of Cups, of course, it's a 5. So we're dealing with some kind of challenge. We're dealing with an emotional challenge this time. We might have experienced a loss or a disappointment or a failed expectation, but obviously the Two Cups standing remind us that not all hope is lost. So there's a Five of Cups. The Six of Cups. The Six of Cups there's a sense of, obviously this is like the card relating to the past or nostalgia, inner child. So on each of the cups, I illustrated something that reminds us of the past. So like this cup has a TV. There's also like these like kind of I guess like nostalgic looking flowers and nostalgic looking birds and a kite and fruits and all that. Like I just wanted to fill it with stuff that feels that makes you feel kind of warm and fuzzy, I guess. Like that's just one I wanted to include, to kind of give you that like childhood or inner child, or that like nostalgia feeling in the Six of Cups. Okay, oops. The Seven of Cups. Okay, so Seven of Cups, I mean, we have 7 cups here. Each of them is presenting us with something different. There's a plant that's going, like, that is going all the way out into the side here. We have a snake in one of them. We have a house in one of them. We have a crown. We have diamonds. So it's very similar to the Rider-Waite-Smith Seven of Cups. So it's like that sense of, like, we're paralyzed by choice. We have a lot of options here. So that's the Seven of Cups. 8 of Cups. So basically all of these cups are stacked on top of each other, but all of them are kind of worn out. They're a little bit worn out looking in this. So it's kind of like, the idea is, I think it's time to get new cups. Like, that's the idea. It's time to maybe get rid of these cups because clearly worn out, and it's time to replace them with new and better ones. Okay, 9 of Cups. The cups have been replaced with all these really beautiful cards, because obviously the 9 of Cups is that wish come true card. It's that like self-satisfaction card. And so you have an assortment of these beautiful cups now. Things are looking good here. And they're all filled with warm beverages. So there's the 9 of Cups. And then the 10 of Cups. Since the 10 of Cups is about a shared joy, we're seeing like all of these cups are being filled. All of them are being filled here to give that idea that this is a shared joy. And then we also have this beautiful assortment of cups similar to the previous one, since they're both cards relating to joy. They're both positive cards. There's the 10 of Cups. Okay, the Page. Page of Cups. So here with the Page of Cups, this page has a cup with all of these flowers blooming from it, and also the cup has it's like the stems of these flowers and also the leaves attached to the flowers. And then there's also a flower blooming from from within the page as well, because to me it's like the page is like inspired by their feelings. Because I do get the page, like for me, I get the page to represent like creative inspiration too, similar to the Page of Wands. But it's basically like, but to me I feel like the Page of Cups, it's about what actually lights them up emotionally. So it's more of an emotional standpoint. It's like there's almost like a feeling of joy. There's this big sense of imagination with the Page of Cups. So I feel like it's definite, like there's almost like a childlike kind of thing to the Page of Cups as well, like an innocence. So that's why I also put the flower as well, so that's like inside, because it's kind of coming from within the emotions of the page. Okay, the Knight of Cups, so also has wings, but what I tried to do with this knight is I tried to give her this dreamy expression to the Knight of Cups, because to me it's like the Knight of Cups is definitely the type to follow his or her heart, follow their heart. The Knight of Cups follows their heart, or they follow their dreams. So there's like this dreamy kind of, I wanted to add that dreamy quality to the Knight of Cups. So that's what I did. And then the Queen of Cups. This is my court card, yeah. So here this queen has 3 eyes, but 2 of them are closed, and the one at the top is open wide, and she is taking a bath in a teacup. She also has this like starry night with the moon, like kind of dreamscape around her. Again, to kind of represent that she is trying to connect to that realm of intuition, like she's in a place of peace, and that's what allows her, not like a place of peace, but she's basically taking a bath. She actually is in a peaceful state in this card, but she's basically trying to connect to her feelings and her emotions. That's what I'm trying to convey in this card. Okay, and then the King of Cups. So with the King of Cups, so we have the fire on the head, because obviously the kings are all fire, but he is also the water. Like, King of Cups is the element of water, and fire, that's the thing, fire does not go with water. And I know that is interesting, because with the Queen of Wands, it's like because that's also fire and water, but it's like water, fire, and then the water is like, when water is heat up, it's like the water boils and the water creates steam. So I guess it gives a different effect for the Queen of Wands, but for the King of Cups, it's like, if you put fire in water, it like gets put out, and so that's the idea. So the king, because like that's why like the king is kind of about like tempering his feelings, and he's all about emotional intelligence, because he tries to put out the fiery, he's putting out the fiery feelings with the water. And so that's kind of why he's associated with that emotional intelligence. He doesn't try to let his emotions control him, basically. That's the idea. The Ace of Swords. So with this Ace of Swords, the sword is in the rock, and basically it's like trying to it's like asking you to pull out the sword and to claim your power. So that's the feeling. It's like going and claiming your clarity and claiming your truth, claiming your power with the Ace of Swords. So that's what how I wanted to convey it. So Two of Swords. So Two of Swords, we have two swords that are crossing each other. So kind of Marseille-ish looking. And then we have that, is it the balsamic moon? I think it's called the balsamic moon. Like, it's basically the crescent moon. Because usually obviously the Two of Swords is read as the indecision card. I personally tend to read this more as the passive card. It's like you're choosing to not take action, or you're choosing to not make any decisions at the moment. So not exactly indecision. Like, for me, like, I don't exactly read it as the indecision card. I'm just more so read it as like, you're not doing anything. In the Two of Swords, you're choosing not to do anything just yet. You're holding off from making any choices, and you're holding off from taking any action. That's the Two of Swords. Three of Swords. So this is a very thoth-looking Three of Swords. But again, it conveys that same exact idea that the Three of Swords tends to depict. But instead of like the heart breaking, this is like a fresh wound. Like, you've just received a fresh wound. So that's kind of like how I did. So there's a sense of, like, there's an ouch happening. There's an ouchie happening in the Three of Swords. This is not pleasant, and I wanted to depict that it's about receiving a fresh wound. But it will heal. At least the wound will heal. And that's why the next card is the Four of Swords. So here we have these swords that are like at the bottom that are kind of worn out looking, because obviously they're like, from the Three of Swords, there's that sense of, I guess, wound or that damage from the Three of Swords. So I did that. And then there's this one sword that at the top that's resting, and there's like a bandage over that sword. So it's about like needing to kind of put the wounds and the pain behind and start healing. Okay, Five of Swords, this is also very Marseille-ish. So here we have the four swords behind, and then the one single sword that's piercing the center, and all of these swords are this is also very worn out looking. All of these swords are worn out looking. A lot of the swords, obviously, in this suite are kind of worn out looking, because obviously the swords are a very challenging suite. They definitely have the most negative cards, so the swords definitely, a lot of them are going to be looking pretty worn out in this deck. So the way that I personally interpret the Five of Swords is there's like obviously again five, it's a challenge, there's an obstacle, but this one is mental. So it's like the obstacle is mental. It's like your mind is the one that's getting in the way. So whether that's through negative thinking or fear or whatever it is, like negative self-talk, it's definitely, or like, there's definitely a sense of self-sabotage going on. Or I know that there's also the hollow victory. This is also a hollow victory card too, and you could even, I mean, that's the thing, that's the nice thing about pips, you could essentially read it however you want, because there's this middle sword that is kind of in the center of these four other swords. Like they're in the front, this sword is in the front, but this sword is also worn out, because obviously the Five of Swords is like, there actually is no real winners here. So Five of Swords, Six of Swords. Okay, so this one, there's six swords that are flying in the direction of the horizon. So, you know, because the Six of Swords is that transitional card, we're transitioning from, like, leaving behind the baggage and over to, we're heading towards something that is better for us, even though the thing is, it's kind of a mystery where we're going. That's why it's like we can't really see exactly what's in the horizon. It's a little bit, like, unknown, but obviously there is a sense of hope. There's a sense of relief. There's a sense of relief in this card that where we are heading is better. So that's the Six of Swords are making their way over to the relief. Oops. Okay. Seven of Swords. So in this one, obviously the Seven of Swords is about deception and lies and all that. That's why I made Five of the Swords. They're like translucent, or they're transparent. Transparent, yeah. Those swords are transparent, but then we have the two solid looking swords. So it's like the idea that obviously the truth eventually comes out. Like something is always left behind that reveals the truth. So there's the Seven of Swords. Okay, Eight of Swords. So I feel like the Eight of Swords kind of gives me the Five of Swords, like how I said it's like like how I read it is like the mental obstacle card. The Eight of Swords, it's like the mental obstacle is even larger. Like it's even more of a barrier. The mind is even more of a barrier. It's like this is like where you really just do not believe in yourself. And that's why they're all crossed. This is also kind of Marseille looking. All the swords are crossed like this. Like this is to like look like a barricade, like a blockage is happening in this card. That's why I chose to depict it that way. But it's like, yeah, this is like where the mind is really not wanting to allow you to do anything. You're really discouraged here. And so, yeah, I just wanted to give this, like, it's an even larger obstacle than the Five. Because there's more swords now. Okay, Nine of Swords. So this is very Thoth-looking, very Thoth-inspired. And so what I wanted to do here is, I actually wanted to make these swords kind of, like, wavy. And this is because in the Nine of Swords, the idea is that it's like all about like nightmares and fear, but it's like that fear is actually distorting your sense of reality. And so that's why I made the swords like wavy like this. It's to kind of look like, you know, your sense of reality is being warped by your own fearful imagination. This is like you're fearing the worst. You're like imagining the worst case scenario is gonna happen for whatever you're doing. So that's why it's like I wanted to give that sense of the reality is warped. And then in the Ten of Swords, all the swords are broken. Bye-bye to these swords. So this is like I wanted to convey this sense of you just don't have any fight left in you anymore. Like all these swords are broken. There's that warrior spirit is completely gone. You just don't really have that fight. That resolve is not there anymore. Obviously, because this is like the ultimate defeat. And the only thing that you can do in the Ten of Swords, you just have to you just have to like leave these swords behind. That's like the only like that's the best thing you can do here. You just need to leave behind these swords because they're broken. Can't really do anything with them. Okay, and here with the page, oh my goodness. Okay, Page of Swords. Page of Swords. So here it's kind of like a continuation from the Ace, but basically this page has pretty much pulled out the sword, and they look very happy about it. This page is very happy about it, because obviously the Page of Swords is about like embracing a new way of thinking. The Page of Swords is kind of starting to get an idea of like where their skills lie, where their strengths lie. Like they're starting to get that idea. Like that's kind of where also the embracing the new ways of thinking kind of comes in. That kind of gives you a sense of power when you do embrace that new way of thinking. It does give you a sense of mental power. But yeah, the page is starting to kind of learn about themselves or about the world around them and all that. And that is fueling their strength. And then here we have the Knight of Swords. So this is obviously the Heir of Air. There's lots of air going on here. This is like, you know, to me the Knight of Swords is like the ultimate warrior. And we can see that like this knight, she has a very serious expression on her face. She's holding up the sword. There's also this like thunder and lightning. Like nothing is stopping this knight from achieving their goals. There's also the birds. Like she is flying with these birds, and she's not gonna let any thunder, she's not gonna let any rain or thunder stop her from getting to where she needs to be. She's very determined to make it through. Okay, Queen of Swords. So Queen of Swords, she is faced away from us. She's faced away from us, but she has 3 eyes on the back of her head. Basically, even if you think that she doesn't know what you're trying to do, she knows. She can sense your BS from a mile away. Even if you don't think she can see you, she definitely can see you. And that's the idea. And also, so what I did was like, there's also all these clouds around her. Like she's like kind of standing, and she's kind of looking ahead. There are all these clouds around her, but her sword is piercing through the clouds. Like this is to give the sense that she also has the ability to kind of pierce through any confusion, to any negative thinking. Like she has that mental strength to be able to cut through any confusion, any kind of negative thinking. That's also the idea here too. Okay, so I need to say something about this King of Swords. So on my copy, I have this misprint on the strawberry version where this king is missing the eyes. Now this is on my copy, but I did fix it. So I did fix the King of Swords file on GameCrafter. Like I put it with the eyes. So on like if anybody gets the strawberry copy, they will you will have the eyes. It's just like obviously it's just a mistake that I made. And I guess somehow I didn't even notice that the eyes were missing on this copy, but don't worry, I fixed it. So on your copy, you should not have this misprint. Your copy will have the eyes on the King of Swords. I just wanted to let you know that yes, I made a mistake, but as long as it's on my copy and not on like everyone else's copy, you know what I mean. But yeah, I just wanted to say that. So I did fix it, so there should not be any issues on anybody else's King of Swords. So the idea with the King of Swords. So here, this king has these 2 swords, and they're basically flaming swords. And to me, it's like the King of Swords is. And also the King of Swords also has all these eyes and also a bird. And since birds are intelligent, basically these swords kind of resemble the Two of Swords. And to me, it's like the King of Swords he's like the ultimate clarity. He's like the ultimate intelligence. He is like a good decision maker. So he's able to kind of use his intelligence. He's able to use his foresight, his knowledge, to be able to make clear decisions in order to make good decisions. So he has like a good sense of judgment. Like that's what I wanted to give with, or the idea I wanted to convey. He has a good sense of judgment to be able to make good decisions. Okay, Ace of Coins, the last minor arcana suite. So Ace of Coins, so here we have a coin that kind of looks like it's growing from a tree. And it is waiting to be claimed. Waiting to be picked, I guess. Waiting to be picked. I keep bumping this tripod because the tripod's kind of low to zoom into these cards, so that's why I keep accidentally bumping into it. I'm very sorry that I keep doing that. So two of pentacles, or two of coins. So this is very Thoth looking, because I mean the two of coins can be about that. I mean, we have the yin and yang here. There is that sense of like multitasking and needing to find balance between work and play, but then there's also that change aspect where like that is in the Thoth tarot, for example. Like it's like about like things flip-flopping, like things changing from going from one state to the other state. That's why there's the yin and yang, and then there's like the opposite. So it's like things flip-flopping and changing states. So again, you could read this however you'd like. It works. I've designed it to work in whatever interpretation you like to use for the tarot. All right, three of coins. So the three, we see each of them. There are these flowers. They're kind of on top of each other. So there's that sense of progress. There's that sense of growth, because obviously the three of coins is, well, it could be about collaboration, and also these are all flowers, so they kind of look alike. They all have a shared goal since they're all flowers. So there is that sense of collaboration, but there's also that sense of like the three of coins. I also like to read as like if you are working on any projects, or it could be a card that's directly related to any like career, job, and that kind of stuff. But this is like a good card because obviously there's a sense of progress. There's something being built here in this three of coins. So it's like progress that's related to any projects or career and all that stuff. Oh my god, I keep bumping this. Oh my goodness, I need to stop. Alright, four of coins. So four of coins, we have, again, very Marseille. This is very Marseille looking. This coin suite, very Marseille looking. So here we have four coins, and then they have a diamond, and they also have a square inside of it. So typically diamonds represent luxury, but then also the squares kind of represent that stability. So obviously the four of coins can be read as that stability card. There is a sense of stability, there's a sense of comfort in this card, but there's also a sense, like, also with the four of coins, you have to kind of be careful to not let it be too, like, to not let that stability and structure be too restricting. And so you need to be open to, like, change in this card. Okay, so five of coins. So these five little coins, I mean, they are shrunken, they are chipped, they are very sad looking coins. I mean, even these little like stems or branches, they're very sad looking. So yeah, I wanted to convey that like this is a pretty sad looking card. And obviously, again, it's a number 5, it's a challenge and obstacle, and obviously it is because the coins are all physical, it's the element of earth, so this is like obviously a challenge that is either related to, it could be a challenge related to health, it could be a challenge relating to finances, it could also be that like, it can also be that like lack mindset, it's like you feel like you don't have enough, so it could actually even be a feeling like that you don't have enough, so scarcity mindset. Okay, 5, or not 5, we were just at the 5, the 6 of coins. Alright, so the 6 of coins, they're all equal on each side, and each of the, like, all six of, or these 3 coins look similar, and these 3 coins they both have, each side has a similar design, and this is to basically give that idea of equal give and take. There's like an equal amount of give and an equal amount of take. There's like that balance between, these. So there's like equal amounts. 7 of coins. So this one, I drew a tree, and then I drew basically these coins around it that kind of look like leaves. So the idea here is that, you can kind of see though that the tree is still a little bit bare. There's not like other leaves, like it's like the leaves are starting to grow, and it's that idea of, like, there's that idea of needing to be patient, needing to wait for your results to come in. But also, I know that the 7 of coins can also be like a reassessment card, so it's like you need to reassess the situation. So there kind of is that too, because, obviously because the leaves haven't completely grown just yet, you still have room to make reassessments to what you're planning, so you can adjust your plan, because things haven't completely grown just yet. Okay, 8 of coins. So here we have these bees in the center, and then we have the beehives, because the 8 of coins is all about productivity and skill, and also like labor. And so, obviously like bees are a symbol of productivity. So I wanted to use the bee, and then I put the beehives. They're working in the beehives. Okay, 9 of coins. So here we have essentially, there's a sense of achievement here. There's a lot of flowers that have bloomed. They're kind of all connected. They've kind of made this beautiful big flower bunch. So there's obviously this sense of fulfillment here. We've attained that level of success to like where we now essentially have a pretty full and nice looking garden. It kind of looks like a garden of coin flowers. And then, oh my goodness. Let me maybe move this up a little bit. Is that good? Okay, there we go. All right, so 10 of coins. So what I did with this 10 of coins is, because obviously the 9 of coins is about like success. This is also a card about success, but this is more about a lasting success. That's why what I did was, I basically made every coin a different part of a tree. So it makes all of these coins make up a full tree. Because again, because it's about lasting success, and trees represent something that is lasting, and especially since the 10 of coins can also be a card about like generations and family, like what's passed down, what you want to pass on. That's why I also put the tree, or I wanted to represent it as like all of these coins are making up a part of that tree. Someone is offering something to this tree. Okay, page of coins. So basically, similar to the ace, we have this coin on the tree trunk that this page is like basically taking. This page has stumbled upon this coin. They are ready to take it. What they want to do with this coin is completely up to them. But this is actually really like the way this page turned out. She looks really cute. Alright, and then poor little Knight of Coins. Little Knight of Coins has this giant coin that they're trying to take up this hill or this mountain. Because, the Knight of Coins is that slow and steady wins the race. And so you can see, I mean, they do have wings, but they're definitely struggling a little bit. But you know what? There's still that determination. Even if they're slowly getting there, at least, they are getting there. Like, they will make it there. Queen of Coins. Oh my goodness. Everything's flying around. Alright, Queen of Coins. So here we have, like, she has 3 eyes, just like the rest of the queens. And then there is this vase. It's like this potted plant. Well, yeah, it is a potted plant. It's like there's a vase with these coins growing, but also internally, inside of her, there's this seed that is also growing coins. Because to me, the Queen of Coins, I mean, honestly, I think, personally, out of all the core cards, I personally think she is the most positive core card because she represents that, like, she kind of has it all. Like, internally, she's satisfied, like, things in her life are balanced, and you know, she's basically, yeah, internally and externally. Like, basically, all is well for this queen. Like, her life, like, she is thriving. This queen is thriving. She is living a good life. She is able to live a comfortable life. So basically, internally, she's satisfied, and externally, she's also satisfied. She's basically cultivated that kind of life, where she can basically have it all. Okay. I'm, like, trying to be careful. Okay, so, King of Coins. So, there are all these coins. There's a stack of coins, because, you know, obviously the king he basically represents that, like, ultimate material success. He is materially abundant, so he is basically lying on top of his riches. Well, I was gonna say he's bathing in his riches, but I mean, he's not in a bathtub, but that's kind of the idea. Although he's kind of sitting on top of his riches. He is looking very satisfied. I also made the fire, like, a little bit, like, there's not as much fire because the king is more concerned with the material realm, but there is still that fire because obviously he had to have some ambition to be able to basically get this far and get this rich. Alright, that is all the minor arcana. I am starting to get pretty tired. But we are almost at the finish line. If you are still here, thank you so much for watching. But now it's time for the final, I guess, suite of this deck, and that is the Zodiac Cards. So, Zodiac Cards, honestly, the Zodiac Cards, you can either shuffle it into your deck or you can use it as a separate oracle. What you choose to do is up to you. But the way I designed the Zodiacs are very, very straightforward. It is basically the symbol, the animal or the symbol that is associated with the Zodiac and their constellation. And they turned out to be super freaking cute. I absolutely love how the Zodiac cards turned out. They're adorable. Here we have Aries with the ram. We have the constellation of Aries. Well, Gemini, you will get your time to shine. Just wait a second. Taurus. Here is Taurus. Here is adorable Ox Taurus. Alright, Gemini. Here are the twins. Although, you know, because in the lovers, I put, like, lookalikes. And here what I did was, they do look alike, so they have a very similar face and hair, so they do look alike. But I wanted their bodies to look different. So they have, like, a little bit of height variation. So they still look alike, they're still twins. But, yeah. I mean, their body proportions look so cool. I love their body proportions, they look so fun. My zodiac sign, Cancer. Look at the little crab! Oh, so cute. I love the way Cancer turned out. I mean, am I a little bit biased? Yes, I am a little bit biased. Because it's my zodiac. And this crab is absolutely adorable. Look at the little crab. So cute. Okay, Leo. So I also did, obviously, Leo is a lion, so I'm going to have to do a lion. But here, instead of the strength card where the lion is looking pretty angry, this is more of a friendly looking lion. More of a happy looking lion. Okay. Virgo, we have the maiden. Very pretty looking maiden. With a little flower. And then Libra, we have the scales, of course. That's why I didn't want to make justice the scales, because obviously Libra is the scales. So I didn't want to do, like, an exact look-alike. Scorpio, here's a scorpion. I really like the way Scorpio came out too. And also, I love that the constellation fit in really well, like on the side here. some of these constellations, I definitely had to finesse them, so, like, into like a space somewhere. I tried my best, but some of them, like the Scorpio one, fitted perfectly. I mean, this one also fit really well in between the Sagittarius's horse likes. So here is Sagittarius, half human, half horse, with the arrow, the bow and arrow. This one's also really nice. I really like Sagittarius too. That illustration turned out to be nice. And then Capricorn, we have the seagull. This is my moon and rising sign. So you can only imagine what it's like to have a Cancer sun and then the moon and rising to be Capricorn. It's quite an ordeal, I will say. But here's Capricorn, here's a sea goat. I wanted to give the sea goat a bit of a serious vibe, so that's what I did. And then we have Aquarius. So Aquarius is the jug or the pot, or well, it's more of a jug. And then we have all the water coming out from Aquarius. And last but not least, we have Pisces, also adorable. We have two fish here. And we have the constellation in the middle. I really like the way the Pisces card came out, too. Oh my goodness. Okay, I forgot to share me shuffling the cards, so let me do that before I play the exit or the outro. Before I cut to the outro, let's shuffle. Let's do a shuffle test of the cards. Okay, so I am the world's worst riffle shuffler, so I'm very sorry. Okay, it worked. You guys will probably be able to riffle shuffle better than me. I'm not the best at riffle shuffling. I definitely, my hands still need practice, but it is quite easy, oh my goodness, to riffle shuffle. I'm standing up, by the way, so that's why I'm in a bit of an awkward position. But as you can see, the deck riffle shuffles, it also fans out as well. I know people like to fan out their cards, so it does fan out quite well. Okay, let's pull out a card from this deck before I play the outro. Alright, let's see. I guess, like, let's just, yeah, I mean, your deck, what do you want? Echo Tarot Classic version, what do you want to say to everybody? Watch it be the Tower. I mean, you know what? Kinda is the Tower. Definitely is definitely a big Tower moment going on in the world, so I wouldn't even be surprised. But let me just shuffle, give this a bit more of a shuffle. Oh goodness, that was horrible. I did a horrible job right there. Okay. Alright, let me... Ugh. Are some of them upside down? Oh my god. I should not be shuffling this when I'm standing up, but I have no choice but to stand up right now. Okay, let's shuffle. Oops. Okay. Alright. Well, it's not the Tower, but... It's not the Tower, but I guess it kinda is something similar. I mean, I think this makes sense for what a lot of people are, I think, experiencing. There's definitely an uncomfortable change, for sure. Uncomfortable changes, for sure. And we're definitely, I mean, I will say, I think we are definitely hoping to be out on the other side with a blooming flower, though. So, yeah, I think that's just what this card is trying to say. Like, I think we're just going through, like, uncomfortable changes. I think we definitely are in this skull territory right now. It's like the flower is gonna take some time to bloom, I think, like, for that new beginning, that more because, you know, the death card is obviously where, like, the kind of new beginning that you transition to from the end. It's like, it's definitely something that is, it'll definitely be positive, but I think there is that awkward transitional phase that we're all gonna have to go through, for sure. So we're definitely, I think a lot of us are in that awkward transitional phase, for sure. But obviously, we're hoping that we come out on the other side blooming like this flower. So there you go. There's a shuffle. There's my botched shuffle test. Because I am not the best shuffler. And I'm also standing. But yeah, there you go. Shuffle test. Cue the outro. So that is it. Oh my goodness, I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty tired. This is pretty exhausting. But of course, I mean, I obviously wanted to do this. And I wanted to show you guys, or explain, give you a better idea, and give you an explanation for anybody that's curious on the idea behind each of the cards. So if you have sticked around this long, thank you so much. And if you do decide to purchase a deck, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I will see you guys in the deck pairing video. So again, thank you so much for watching. Bye!